Hello, King Matthew. Hope you're doing well. So I have your music here. I have Mercy, 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 and April in Paris. So what I'm going to do is play through them with the recording playing in the background. Sorry for my weird setup. Also, welcome to my house. Um, so let's start with Mercy, Mercy, Mercy because that's the one we both know. Pretty well, I think, right now. So if you want to get that one out, we'll start with that one. All right, here we go, right at the beginning. Two, three, four, two, two, three, four, three, two, three, four, five, six, two, three, four, seven, and eight. Six, seven, two, three, four, eight, and here we go. Seven, two, three, four, eight, and here we go. It's weird when you don't have a conductor and you have to follow a recording for that. So that will be easier when you have Mr. Gagnon conducting for you at the end there. Awesome. All right. So things that we want to focus on for this one is all that articulation stuff that we have around like measure 9. Actually, we have it on almost every note. You have an articulation marking. So make sure that those are really popping out, or not, because sometimes they're tenuto and that doesn't mean to pop them out. And I think we've worked on this enough. So what I want to do is really look at American in Paris. Sorry, that's another good piece. April in Paris. So take that one out. Yeah, side note, American in Paris is a Gershwin piece. It's one of my favorite Gershwin pieces, which is why it just kind of casually slipped out there. So I was looking at this one, and it does go a little high near the end. So this one's going to be a really important one for you to make sure you're taking full breaths and supporting the whole time. Since if you're kind of not supported at the beginning of the piece, that means you're going to be even more tired at the end when you have all of this the higher stuff. And this one is also going to be one that we're going to want to do nice and slowly to make sure we get all of those eighth note runs. So let's take a look at stuff before we jump into just playing it with the recording. So right at measure 18, you have this triplet figure here. So this one's a really awkward one to just position, just because we're trombone players and that's just kind of how it happens to be. So right here we're gonna go 6, 3, 5, 6. So that number on the top of that F means that they want you to play the F in 6th position, not 1st position. And there's a good reason why. Because if you try to go from 5th position to 1st position, from that the G flat to the F, it will hurt, because what will end up happening is sometimes you'll go too fast and then you'll smash your slide right up against your face, and you don't want that. Trust me. Maybe you've already done that before. I totally have bunch of times in the past. So let's practice that nice and slow. So this is measure 18, that triplet figure there. So it's going to sound like, this is nice and slow, so just so you know what the notes are, it's going to sound like this. So those are the notes. So the rhythm is going to be triplet and then the note. So starting a measure before, so you're going to be counting in 17. Here we go. 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba-da-ba-ba. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba-da-ba-ba. So it's easy to sing, right? It's easy to sing, but a lot of the slide positions are going to be out in the lower end for us. So we're going to have to do that nice and slowly. So right at this is measure 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So see how that's kind of awkward for us, just because it's a lot of 6. So one more time. 3, 4, 1. And this is going to be legato tonguing, which is our da-da-da instead of ta-ta-ta. So think of like a nice soft D when you're playing. So that's going to be a good place to work on. I also had to work on it before I did this video. So, and then we have a solo or soli, depending on how many people are playing this. But this is a really fun part that we get to play. So let's kind of go through this nice and slowly first, and then we can go from there. So we'll go all the way to measure 41. Okay, so this is starting, pick up to measure 25, measure 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Mistake. Haha, sorry. One more time. So, I don't know if you noticed, but my mistake was in measure 31. It starts off with a B natural, and then the B natural carries into that last B natural at the end of the measure, and I went to a B flat. So, one more time. Right at measure 24 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 4. almost made a mistake again. Right at the end of measure 36, that triplet goes, really get into it. I almost forgot that it was a triplet. That's why it sounded a little bit slow. But that is all a good place to work, part to work on. And going into measure 37, so measure 36 going into 37 is going to be nice and important because that run in 36 is going to help you actually support that high F when it comes up. So let's start right at measure 36. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. How'd that go? I can play it better, so we're gonna do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. A little bit better. But that's a good spot to work on for me too. So you definitely serve King Matthew. All right, let's keep going. A lot of this end part, it's kind of with other people. So as long as you're listening around, it's pretty, it's important to listen around just because a lot of the rests are going to be at the same time too. So making sure you're playing with other people, stopping when you're supposed to be stopping, and listening to everyone's note lengths is going to be really important at the end here. So let's play starting right at measure 60. So it's going to be a pickup into 61. So this is measure 60. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So a couple of things. The measure 73, 74, there's going to be a lot of things going on there, but really stay true to your part. Ba, 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 ba. And then also that those lines going into the notes, so measure 76, you probably heard it, but that means we're going to gliss into those notes. So you're going to start a little bit further down from whatever position that note is. So at the beginning we have 3 D flats, triplet D flats. So if we don't play with the gliss, it's going to sound like, right? But if we add the gliss, it's going to sound like, if I can play it. So that's what we're doing in all of measure 76. And the second time when this whole thing repeats, the second time it's going to be a little bit nice and slow, and it'll be really important for you to be watching what Mr. Gagnon's doing at the front, as always. So measure 76 is going to sound like, one more time, 3, 4. So getting those notes is going to be important. So I'm kind of starting like a position lower. So like starting in position 3 for those D flats glisses. So yeah. So all right. let's try it with the recording, shall we? So those are some good places to practice. But let's see what it sounds like in context. All right. We're playing here. 5. 4, 2, 2. I forgot to set up my music, sorry. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2. This is 17. 1, boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, go. 6. So you can tell that this is gonna go a little bit faster than what we're gonna want to play it at, just because we have slides. So make sure you practice all that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. Nice and slow. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 65. 3, 4. 1, 2, again, will be easier to do when you're watching someone. So it's, did you see how I was trying to talk while I was counting? It's really hard, so don't do it. So that section, before we do all those rests at measure 41, starting pick up into measure 25 is going to be a really good place to practice. Mostly just because the slide is kind of awkward in some places, just the nature of how our part is. It's totally fine. But practicing that part slow, any of the 8th note runs, if you need to practice slow, those will be really good to do. At the end, measure 65 to the end is going to be, I think, will be pretty fun to play, especially when you're kind of nailing those hits with the rest of the group. It's going to feel really satisfying. So make sure you really hit those accents. Make sure you're counting and having a nice internal pulse going so that you don't come in too early or too late. It's going to be really important. And yeah, I know you'll do a great job shouting. Oh, does it say solo shout? Solo shout. Okay, so maybe it's not everyone, but I know you'll do great shouting. Make sure you watch for that too, or it's gonna sound like chaos, and we don't want that. So, anyways, thanks for playing with me. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe. Make sure you wash your hands. I know everyone's already told you that, but it's really important. So don't forget to do that. All right, take care. Bye.